Hey there everybody, Matt Carter here.
And Jessica Carter from CarterMatt.com.
This video is our episode 3 reaction for The Boys, which is entitled Get Some. I don't know if there is a more appropriate title for this show.
Nope, there isn't.
And I think this is going to be a fun episode to discuss. We have everything from Rick-rolling to untimely deaths in really horrific ways.
And bringing in a new character, we have Mother's Milk, who I'm thoroughly enjoying.
Yeah, just give me all the Mother's Milk. Mother, you may be my favorite person on The Boys at the moment for a number of different reasons.
Oh, he's great.
Before we dive into anything, though, if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other updates that we have coming your way. Okay, so this guy... okay, the Rick-rolling part of it is great in itself because it's like, who volunteers to have this as their ringtone?
Oh, he basically Rick-rolled himself in that. He was in that fight going on with Frenchie, and then he kind of Rick-rolled himself there. That whole scene stole the episode for me. He's so funny. That conversation he was having with his woman on the phone, very inappropriate timing, obviously, but man, it all played out so well. I really like having someone like him in this group because I feel like this group needs somebody like him. He's a lot more cool-headed. I know he wasn't as much in that scene, but clearly there's some beef there. But he's a lot more cool-headed than a lot of the rest of the boys that are part of this team. So when it comes time to needing someone to go in and kind of smooth out a situation a little bit, he's a good person to be in there.
He feels like he is sort of the adult in the room in a lot of ways, where you've got Billy Butcher and you've got Frenchie, and it's like these two guys, I think if you saw them coming up to your door wearing a repair shirt, I don't think you let them in under any circumstances.
No, and Hughie, he looks like someone who would be there to fix your computer, but he's not really that level-headed at this point. He's still really upset about what's happened and wants some sort of vengeance.
Yeah, and the big mission at the heart of this episode for the boys is, here we have Popclaw, who, as we have learned, she is the fling of our old pal A-Train, and they have to go in there to try to see if they can infiltrate her computer and get like a live camera on there to figure out exactly what is going on.
And how easy was that? She let them in, whatever you want, here's my computer, here's my whatever you need. Like, it was pretty easy.
Yeah, Popclaw, you're doing some dangerous stuff in your place with this Compound V. I mean, you should have a little bit more security for who you're letting in.
Yeah, and she's a super.
Yeah.
So even though, she's a D-list super, she's still somebody who's different than everybody else. So it's a little trusting, but it needed to happen to kind of move the story along a bit.
I love how even in here, Mother's Milk is like still trying to play this angle, and he's like, I'm a big fan. Are you? Like, really? Are you? I don't know.
Yeah, it was hard to see if he was really a big fan, or if this was something that he needed to say to be able to kind of smooth out the situation even more, kind of distract a little bit, throw that little bit of praise on her so she starts to let down her guard a little bit more.
Yeah, and I mean, it did seem to work well enough. They got it in there, and eventually we got to see the revelations from her conversation with A-Train, which, of course, it's fairly convenient that they have an important conversation and that A-Train shows up, like, immediately after they leave.
Yeah, they got real lucky, and I get it.
Yeah.
Us as viewers don't want to watch hours of her brushing her teeth and eating macaroni and, vacuuming up her place. Like, we can skip over that. And we did. So, they got to the meat of it right away. A-Train, they had that meeting in the hallway with Hughie, which was very telling of just, I get that A-Train meets a lot of people and all that sort of stuff, but how many people is he killing that he's gonna not remember Hughie? So is he just that into himself? The answer is yes.
Yes. I like to think that it is like 50% narcissism And maybe 50%, like, maybe this is your brain on drugs, that maybe A-Train is taking too much of this stuff and he's starting to get to his head.
Yeah, and that could very, very well be. We don't know what this Compound V really is. It's some sort of an enhancement or steroid, I guess, super steroid, something that seems to enhance their abilities, but we don't know a lot about it yet, what it does, what the after effects are. But I mean, I think a lot of it is just that A-Train doesn't really care about the people that he's meeting. He just wants to be a celebrity. People come in, out all day long in his life. So, but when you're killing somebody, I would have thought something like that would stick. That's why I posed the question. How many people has he accidentally killed?
Probably many, judging just from this and this alone. But, you know, it seems like everyone's more than fine to continue to cover it up. But the primary purpose of A-Train's visit, it revolves around this ridiculous concept of the race, which is a focal point of this episode. And from the get-go, from the moment we even learned that this is happening, it's like, this is so absurd that these people are going to go and do a race and there's going to be people who show up. Like, this made the Kentucky Derby feel like a marathon. This is like 5 seconds, and if that, you guys show up and you go in the stands for that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, and I get it from the standpoint of the company wanting something like this, because the more, after what happened with A-Train and the cancer kid in the last episode, his ranking doesn't seem like it's probably high enough. So they need to do a little bit of damage control. They were lucky that he was able to win the race and deal with it, so that he's still part of the team, and it's all working out for A-Train.
For now. I think there might be consequences. He gets the Compound V. He wins the race. All is going well and good. Not going so well and good for Popclaw after seeing him basically in the press conference be like, "Hey, ladies," like he doesn't have anything going on.
Yeah, and I don't know what she expected. I mean,
I know.
Really, he told her, she thought she was coming to this race, that their relationship was going to come out in the open, that Madeline knew that it was all fine, and that he lied to her. So, seeing him come out and be like, "Hey, ladies, line up for the A-Train," that she should have seen it coming.
It did lead to the Compound V infested weird angry montage that we got after the fact. It's like, I guess it's a good thing if you're gonna take the steroid that you're not like leaving your place and you're just gonna take it out by like lifting a lot of weights and shouting incoherently.
And then killing your landlord.
Yeah, the landlord picks the worst possible time to come up, and also quite possibly one of the worst possible ways to die.
This show is so gruesome, and every episode so far has seemed to try to find a way to up the ante with this to make it even more gruesome than the last.
Yeah, I mean, this guy basically got like the Red Viper treatment from Game of Thrones on steroids in its own way, and poor landlord, we hardly knew ye. I'm sure that, I don't know what the rent situation is going to be like now for Popclaw, but I feel like somebody's going to come in there eventually. I don't know if the steroids make her extra good at cleaning. She probably should hope so.
I'm just mostly curious of how all the supers really work in this world. Like, we have the main 7, and they're the ones that are bringing in all the money. And then we have supers that are being sold off to cities for hundreds of millions of dollars. And then we have people like Popclaw who still have abilities. And it seems like it's a very small part of the population that have abilities. So the idea that she can't make any money off of these abilities, even being a vigilante or hiring herself out for something that she should be able to make money for, feels a little bit unbelievable to me.
It's tricky, and you're right, I don't know how many supers there are in this world. I don't know how many people have powers. I mean, maybe you do need to apply your powers to a certain extent in order for people to really want to get behind you.
Yeah, I mean, even in the darkest of hours, could she not be a supervillain, take her claws out, rob people, go to parties, hey kids, look what I can do, like, even the most basic kind of stuff, that there's no way that she's able to use her powers to even make her rent. That part feels a little bit unbelievable to me.
The only thing I'm trying to compare it to in my head, and it's not a one-for-one comparison, is pro athletes, where if you're good enough, you get on a team, you get paid a lot of money, but maybe if you're, like, okay at it, you end up getting to, like, a minor league team, and you make a little bit of money, but you're basically making the same as any Joe Schmo who has, like, a 9-to-5 job, and maybe that's what this is, but it still feels weird to us because we do not have superheroes in our world that someone like Popclaw would be struggling.
Yeah, I just feel like there's something she could be doing that if you are that super and that you can shoot claws out of your wrists, like, maybe she doesn't want to break bad and go and be a villain on stuff, but there are ways that it feels like she'd be able to use that to some sort of advantage.
Well, let's talk a little bit about now Starlight, one of the few people who seem to have, like, some element of good still in them on this show.
Yep.
They just really want me to just feel for her all the time, because I feel so bad for her that, you know, she's trying to do the right thing again. And, I mean, I think there is a part of her at this point who's got to want to walk away from the Seven once and for all. I mean, the stuff they're having her do, the ridiculous costume.
That wasn't too surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really look in comics and stuff that's going around, you don't see guys that are dressed like that, but women are almost always dressed in something like that. It just is what it is in that kind of world.
It is what it is. I mean, it stunk that she had to go through with that. I did love the scene with her and the little kid who had her original costume. And, you know, after she was getting catcalled, she was just like, you know, don't buy the new costume. Just be happy. And this one, maybe that's not going to please all the higher ups, but hey, you know.
I'm just mostly curious to see how this is all going to play out with Hughie and the boys.
Yeah.
Because is she going to then end up still being sort of that, not a pure soul, but a soul that really actually wants to help and wants to try to use her position in the Seven to do some good, no matter that the rest of the Seven are not doing any good. And they're all really just in it for the paycheck and for the flash. And so it's hard to know if she's gonna end up just getting dragged into that world because there is no choice and she's not able to kind of still do what she wants to do and do this, or if she's gonna start to be a bit of a spy to help them out, help the boys take them all down.
Well, here's what I would love to see. I would love to see your idea about the spy, because I think we're building towards an inevitable. She's going to find out what Hughie is doing. She's going to be upset about it because she's not going to understand the timing of everything. She's not going to know that some of this started before he even met her. But I think that eventually, if we get to where Starlight and Hughie become close enough, she realizes what he's doing, and she also just continues to be just degraded by the Seven, that maybe she will help him, they can destroy it from within, and then, you know, she can sort of build up a new Seven after the fact.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see how that goes, especially, though, with the boys, the rest of the boys, because they all clearly have had some sort of problem or run-in with some of these Seven. Like, whatever's going on with Billy and Homelander, there's some dark waters there.
Clearly, there are problems, and I think that's going to be the problem with Hughie, because I think they're all going to be like, she's the devil, she's terrible. Like, they're going to say all this stuff about Starlight that may not be true, but, you know, he's going to have a hard time changing their minds, I think.
Well, and now that Billy knows that there is that connection with Starlight and Hughie's got her number, like, I'm suspecting that along the way, Billy is going to start pressuring Hughie into making those calls and getting that help and getting that insider information. It's going to really put a nice pull on Hughie back and forth between these two groups of people.
And unfortunately, Hughie's powers do not include a backbone of steel, so I don't know how much he's going to be able to say no to these people.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. But now we're set up for the next episode. They have found translucent skin that I guess wasn't able to break up. Deep found it in the waters while his friend the porpoise found it. Oh, they're doing my Aquaman dirty.
Okay, well, we already have the cool Aquaman. We can have loser Aquaman too.
And clearly we do.
Yes.
So Homelander now knows that there's basically been the gauntlet thrown.
Yeah, and this I think is going to set the stage for some ugly and crazy and hopefully really fun stuff.
And we also need to talk about Homelander, and I always mispronounce her name, but Mauve.
Yeah.
And what's going on there with that relationship. Because it seems like she is the only person in this 7 that we don't know anything sort of dirty about. Like, what has she been doing that's bad? It kind of doesn't feel like there's much yet, where everyone else... Well, maybe Noir, we don't know anything about him either, but I mean, it seems like most of the team have some deep, dark secrets, but there hasn't been a lot with her. She just feels like, obviously she's had some sort of relationship with Homelander, and they're not together, and he's nuts.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that rolls out.
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool if she could end up being an ally of sorts for Starlight down the line. I don't know if she can, because we don't know enough about her, and she and Homelander do have some sort of history. It's sort of like the Use an Empire reference. Homelander is like the Lucius Lyon of this situation, where he kind of just feels like no matter if he and Mauve are together, that, like, they have to be together, and she can't be with anybody else. And
yeah, that's getting a little scary, especially when your ex-boyfriend is someone who can burn someone to death with their eyes, and we've seen that he's just a straight up murderer, and I'm sure she knows it. I mean, she just watched him punch his fist through somebody's chest. Like, it didn't have to be like that, but it is. So she's in a tough position.
She just needs a little bit more Homelander security. Okay, all right, then you're all welcome. Okay, that is the bad joke of this video, but let us know in the comments what you thought about The Boys Episode 3, and if you like this video, give us a like, subscribe, and you can support us further by checking the link in the description to the Carter Matt store, and we'll see you here next time.